Alison, bigger.
So first of all, reflecting on the previous season, you obviously smashed some expectations, but what were your expectations and how did your team perform against them?
So last season, I think our first job was to win the league so that we could get into that playoff fixture, and then once we were in the playoffs, it was like, let's see what happens, let's see what we can do here. Obviously, we had a bit of a stumble when we went to Dundee. It kind of wasn't the result we wanted, but we made it up for that in the home fixture against Sturtree, so it was quite nice to get the result we wanted.
Who were the standout and breakout players from your team last season?
There's always a few girls that are always scoring tries and breaking through. Alexandra Phillips is one, Alison Orr is another, and Ellie Ritchie again. Both three standout players we've got in the team.
What game sticks in your mind from the previous season and why?
Last year we played against, it was either Oban or Greenock out on that pitch, and we had 13 players on the pitch at the end of the game because there were so many injuries, nobody was available, and the hard graft and the determination the girls showed to actually get through that just kind of shows what we have as a team, which was, yeah, that wasn't great.
No, definitely not. Have you discussed ambitions for this season and what are your own goals and expectations for yourself?
I think to start off with, we just need to see where we kind of fit in with the league, and we obviously want to kind of set ourselves up. We don't want to end up in the position where we're playing in the playoffs again, but we want to obviously challenge ourselves as a team and just see what happens as we go through.
Great. And is there a match or team that you're most looking forward to playing this season?
I think once we get the first game over with, like, that'll be just let us get into the swing of it and on the pitch and just see what happens after that.
That's a good way to look at it. What do you think of the league format for this year in terms of the split?
Yeah, I think it'll be good because obviously you don't want to be getting beaten by a team every time you play them, so it'll be quite nice to have that split after the first half of the season and get some nice competitive games and just improve as a squad as we go through that.
Fantastic. And final question, why did you pick up rugby in the first place?
I've always kind of been involved in sports since I was young, but I kind of stopped doing anything when I went to uni, and then some of the girls were like, oh, come down. I was like, oh, we'll see. And then once they dragged me down, I've not left. So.
And how many years ago was that?
4 years ago, so I've not been playing very long, but yeah.
Zoe Christopherson.
Okay, so starting off looking at the previous season, what were your team's expectations and how did you perform against those expectations?
Well, we set out with quite the ambition task of, like staying at the top and winning the Prem, and we smashed it. Going through the whole Premiership, like being undefeated, and then having that final at Union Park was just incredible. Like, the hard work that we put in on and off the pitch like really showed, like through the players, through the coaches, and just everything ended up falling into place, and it was just such a special time for us at the club, so it was really good.
Obviously, like, everyone must have played their hearts out for the whole season, but were there some standout players that took you the whole way?
There was quite a couple actually. Like, everyone put in an incredible shift and hard work, but we were quite lucky to pick up Lisa Martin. We had Marion Gunderson, Adele Ferry, the carries and the skills that a lot of them showed, especially when it came to things like penalties. Having Lisa's boot really helped us, like getting that edge on the points. But I think every player in the entire squad just carried themselves really well.
It's hard to reflect on one match, but is there a standout match from last season?
I think it just has to be the final. You know, that one at Union Park was just the atmosphere is like indescribable to actually try and say how we felt through that. But we kept our cool. That's what we had spoken about. We'd worked well so hard under pressure, and we didn't let the things get away with us. And that's what we had like really worked for that entire season. So. When that final whistle went and after Kilmy scored in that try, it was just something that you can't forget.
That's great. Have you had any changes happening in the off-season? Any new players, any new coaches?
Yeah, there's a couple of changes this season, so it's going to be quite interesting with the group of players that we've got and the group of coaches that we've got as well. Like, we're just really excited to get out onto the pitch and show what we can do together as a group. Like, we've been working really hard in this pre-season that we've started, even the pre-season. So we're off to a really good start with the group of players and the coaches that we've got.
Fab. And have you discussed ambitions for your team's performance for this year?
I think we're just trying to stay at the top, really aiming towards that top four of the league split. So if we get ourselves into that, then we can look and see what is going to happen after that split. But the top four is definitely something that we're aiming for.
And do you have any goals for yourself for the season?
I think just play as much as I can. Been working really hard just like in the pre-season and on and off the pitch. So I think it'll be, I'm really excited to get out into that first game and see what we can do together, because we've worked really hard to say what we want to do, show ourselves and how people want to see us as a squad. So it'll be exciting to see how that pans out.
And is there a match or a team that you're most looking forward to playing this year?
I think we're just excited to get the first game, especially with it being against Biggar, their first time in the Premiership. It'll be really exciting to get the group of players that we've got out onto that field and see what will happen. So I think we're just really excited for the first kick-off.
And what do you think of the new league format with the split coming in?
I think it'll be really interesting. I think it'll end up possibly even being like more competitive. There's going to be a fair few teams really fighting for that top four position. So I think it'll be really interesting to see how that pans out.
And final question, what drew you to rugby in the first place?
I started when I was in like just the end of primary school, kind of like start of high school, but we've always been such a big kind of like rugby family. Like my dad plays and he referees, and obviously playing with my sister as well. So I think just being drawn into all of that at such a young age, never looked back really.
So it's Jodie Delgarno and Giri.
Okay, so reflecting on the previous season, what were your team's expectations and how did your team perform against those expectations?
Yeah, so I think the last two seasons, if I even look back as far as that, it's sort of been a survival mode for Giri. We've had to soak up quite a lot of learning on the job, if you like, and really just take it in our stride and take the beatings and the lessons that have come from those games. When I think on the previous season that we've just had, I've seen some real kind of promise from that. Glimmers of gold, I like to associate with it, where we're starting to see confidence in the girls, and they're looking more comfortable on the ball. We're getting to play a little bit more of our game now. So these little things are starting to come through, and I think as we progress into this season, that's definitely going to be something that we'll continue to see more of. And that's, on reflection, I think the growth that we've had is steady. We've got to be, realistic with our expectations, and we got a taste of middle of the table for a few weeks last season, and I think that gave us the hunger to be, that's where we want to see ourselves. And so we set our goals quite hard and high, that we have to strive for that mid-table positions now. We've had a few years in campaigns, and it's time to really take it up a notch.
Fantastic. And looking at those glimmers of gold, were there some standout players from last season that you want to talk about?
There are a lot of standout players, particularly some of our youth group. We've had a couple of our girls go through the under-20s at the moment, Celtic Challenge players, regional pathway players that have come in. I wouldn't even begin to name who I think are key players. I actually like to think that, Giri's grown as a core crew. And all our players have held a real value in getting us to where we are now. And it's only showing as we see more and more of them take opportunities at higher levels.
And what game sticks in your mind from last season?
I'll have to be biased. I captained for the first time against Stirling County in the Cup. We knew we had a fighting chance in that game, just because of everything that was going on with the Celtic Challenge. So it was really an opportunity for Giri to showcase what they could do. And we held them very well until the final dying minutes, where there was just 2 points from the last try from County that took the win. So I'll forever hold that one as a proud moment to captain the squad and really show that we can take on some of those top teams despite the challenges at the time of the season.
Amazing. Have you had any changes happening in the off-season? Any new staff, any new players?
We've certainly changed our coaching setup. We've got a bit of a coaching hub going on at the moment. we've sort of been self-sufficient in the north to provide the resource that we need to perform in the Premiership. So we'll look to continue to build on that and have a coaching squad internally that we develop our own coaches and players, and they will become part of the bigger picture for Giri as it continues to build into the Premiership. Player-wise structure, we've formed a second 15 last season. Hugely proud to say that they got into the Murrayfield finals in the Cup. Shows the real calibre of players coming through, and that's really had to up the ante for the first team to compete for the shirt, a luxury we've not had before. And I think, we train now as one section, or first and seconds, to really sort of prepare anyone that wants to take on Premiership rugby and give them that fighting chance from day one when they join the club now. So it's really good.
That's great. And we've reflected on last season's ambitions. So looking ahead to this season, what are your ambitions for your team's performance? And what are your own goals or your expectations for yourself?
We have huge ambitions. We have to. I said before, we're into our fourth season. We've had our couple of years where we've had to just soak up learning. So the ambition has got to be to start performing better. We need to come back this year, have more attacking time on the ball. We want to look at being in the breakdown more and really disrupting the dominant teams in the league. We want to take that scorelines down. It has a negative impact on any team to take such big scorelines. So I just don't want to accept as a personal goal this season that we take defeats heavily. We really want to contest and give them a fighting game, every game, consistent right across the whole league, and be a bit more endurant to the season. So I think we started well last season, and then towards the end we could see the sort of tiring of the players as we got to the end. So a huge expectation on them to deliver the same standard right the way through, but absolutely achievable. And I believe the resilience the squad has, that this year we can come in and play our game and start to enjoy our rugby again as we take on mid-table in the Prem.
And is there a match or a team that you're most looking forward to playing this season?
I have to say it'll have to be bigger. It's a new team. We're excited to play them. We'll obviously have the nerves of not knowing what to expect. Met some of the girls here today, and it sounds like it'll be a really good challenge to come down and play a brand new squad, set our expectations well at the start of the season, and I'm looking forward to being here for the first time. Yeah.
Great. And there's a new league format this year. There's a round robin and then split into top four, bottom four. How does that change things for you? Are you looking forward to that new format? How do you see that?
Yeah, massively. I think across the board it's important that we give competitive games in the league. There's a huge jump from the regional to the Premiership matches, and I think without having that structure this season, it continues to be difficult for new teams to sort of develop and get themselves embedded into that league. By going with this structure, we'll have more competitive games throughout, and I think everyone learns better from those that are closer matches, and it allows us to build on the mentality that is difficult anyway when you're rising into something that's far more senior than most of the girls have played before. So that'll give them a chance to really have some confidence throughout the season that way.
And final question, what draws you to rugby?
The community aspect of it, the family sort of, I know it sounds cheesy, but it's such a family sport. You have the ability to take your sport off the pitch and just have the same friendship group around you that builds you up. I love the physical aspect of it and the challenge that the girls give each other to grow, and they can take that in and out of the game as well. So it's an incredible game to be part of.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. That was brilliant.
Brogan Carberry, Hillhead, Jordan Hill.
So starting off, reflecting on the previous season, what were your team's expectations and how did your team perform against those?
So last season we ended up finishing fourth, and I think we were a little bit disappointed with that. I think we had higher expectations for ourselves, especially because so many of the games that we lost were by such close margins. And then coming to the Cup, we obviously got the Cup final and then lost by 1 point. So I think we're happy with the season, but a little bit disappointed because we know we've got much more in us and much more that we can show next season.
And looking at the players specifically, are there any standout players out there who have shown themselves this year that you want to reflect on?
Honestly, everyone. I think everyone's really stepped up this year. We had a lot of people playing out with position or playing in different positions, and a lot of girls stepping up from our twos team into the ones. I think everyone was so impressive and would be very proud of themselves. So, yeah.
What game sticks in your mind from previous season and why?
There's probably two. Our first game against Harros,
was really, really good. I think everything just clicked. We'd been building quite a lot up until that moment, and everything was just flowing really, really well. And then it's got to be cup final, just getting to that moment with finishing fourth, previously, and then getting to cup final and just maybe just switched on a bit late, but it was still like a really good experience, and I think everyone really enjoyed themselves and we're hungry for next season.
So, looking at this season, has there been any changes that have happened in the off-season? Do you have any new coaches, any new players coming in?
Our coaching staff are saying the same, which is great. We have a few really good players leaving us, a couple retired and a couple just moving on to new things, which we're really sad to see them go, and there will be a big loss for us. But with saying that, we've also got a lot of new players joining us or old players returning to us, which is really exciting. And I think it will be good to have a bit of sort of variety in our gameplay, show something a little bit different from last season. So really looking forward to it.
Looking ahead to this season, what ambitions have you got for your team's performance for the coming season, and what are your own goals and expectations?
So for next season, we're really just having a full focus on us as a team. We want to obviously do better than fourth. We've had some really close competitive games where we've maybe just missed out a little bit, and it's just having that little bite and switched on a bit earlier to get us over that line. In terms of my own goals, I just want to see everyone excel in the team. I think it'd be really nice to see new players step in and see how it changes the dynamic. And also having some of our twos players coming up as well would be really good for them. So I'm excited for it. It should be good.
Is there a match or team that you're most looking forward to playing this season?
Probably Stirling. I feel like it's always a close game. I feel like both teams switch on quite a lot for those games because it's just like a rivalry of some sort that seems to happen. But no, really looking forward to those games because they were so close last year as well. It'll be good to come back and hopefully take the win.
Great. And what do you think of the new league format in terms of the round robin and splitting to the top four, bottom four?
I think it'll be interesting, and I think it'll be very different. I don't think it'll change our game plan at all. We're just playing the way we always will, and just attacking like that. But it'll be interesting and different, something new. I think everyone's quite excited to see how it will play out and if it will sort of have any sort of impact.
Great. And final question, why did you pick up rugby in the first place?
I don't know. I feel like I just liked the look of it. Everyone at Hills is so welcoming. Like, it's such a good community, and it's not just about rugby. It's about us being there for each other, and I feel like the social aspect of it is really good. It's a nice community. Yeah, I don't know.
Morven Thompson and Harros.
So, reflecting on last season, what were your team's expectations and how did your team perform against them?
So it was a bit of a builder season for us. We'd lost a few sort of senior players just to life and to a couple other clubs, and we had a little bit of bother with coaches at the start, but Carl sort of stepped up and was our head coach. So we struggled with numbers, so that made it really hard for our games. I suppose if you've not got enough players, you've got injuries, and it's really hard to sort of play a full game with 15 players just doing that 80 minutes themselves. There probably wasn't many expectations. It's kind of just to get through the whole season, which we did, and we did make a big improvement from the start to the end. So we were really happy with what came out of it.
And did you have some standout players throughout the season?
Like I said, we didn't have many players or subs, so definitely it was a whole team effort. I would say, if I could, pretty much all of them, but to say a couple, Kay, who is our vice captain this year, was just an incredible leader, really strong ball carrier, and I think a lot of other clubs did notice that. I think they've tried to steal her off us, but not quite managed. And Helen in the centre as well, really strong runner. Sort of just the same people that showed up every week to training and to the games, just kind of pulled us through the whole season.
What game sticks in your mind from last season and why?
I probably blanked a few of them out. It was quite tough games, quite a tough season, but I think winning towards the end of the season against Watsons, with 1 point in it, was a big win and a big achievement, because I think at the start of the season it was almost triple figures, I think. So that was a really good win, and it sort of just shows that we did work really hard and deserved that win.
And have you had any changes going on in the off-season, and new coaches, players coming in?
So we've got Panache as our new head coach, which is really exciting. And we've still got Carl as our backs assistant coach. and Sarah and Hassan for our forwards. So we've got a really good setup, and we've also got one of the ex-players, Charlotte, who's stepped into a manager role, which is really good. It's just created a much more professional environment, especially for new players coming in. It's quite nice to have such structure and like organisation. It's just great, and a few new players coming in as well. So people moving down for university, managed to get them, and a few other players coming up from under 18s. So yeah, it's really exciting, looking good.
What have you discussed your ambitions for your team's performance at all for the coming season, and what are your own goals and expectations for the season?
Yes, we've not formally discussed them, but we're kind of looking to get in that top 4 when the league splits. So yeah, because I think we finished 5th last year, so just to win those first few games would be really beneficial to us. So yeah.
Great. And is there a match or a team that you're most looking forward to playing this season?
I'd probably say Cartha as well, just because it'll be a really tight game, and yeah, they've got a strong scrum as well, which we'll be working on ours. Not that I'm involved in it, but and I've got a few fast runners as well, so it'll be a good game. It's always fun when it's a tight game, so probably looking forward to that first one the most.
And what do you think of the new league format where it splits?
I've honestly not thought too much into it. Just more excited to just get some rugby in. I suppose it's kind of hard to predict what it's going to be like until we've done it. So I'll maybe see once it's finished what I think of it after that.
And final question, how did you start playing rugby?
I'm a bit of a rugby family, so my dad played pretty much all his life, and my older brother played as well, so just went to the local club, Rosalind, and sort of did primary 4 minis there, and yeah, it was just a really nice environment, and yeah, really enjoyed it.
Carolyn Baker Hughes, Cartha Queen's Park.
So reflecting on last season, what were your team's expectations and how did your team perform against them?
Well, I think a few people in the team had different expectations. I think our coach was targeting top 4, and I think a lot of us within the team were wanting to just stay up. So we definitely achieved what we wanted to do in terms of we stayed up. I think we could have performed better against a few teams, and then maybe we would have challenged for that top 4. But realistically, we wanted to stay up and we did that. So yeah, we met it.
Fantastic. Who were your standout breakout players throughout the season?
Throughout the season, I would say Quinn, Rebecca Moffat. She came up, she used to playing for Irvine, who I think were development, and then she came into our team and played Premiership Rugby, and she was fantastic, so she did really, really well. Wee Sammy leaving and going to Australia and coming back absolutely turned it around for us when she got back. That was really good. And then I'd say the other one probably would be Abby Harity. She was playing seconds at the start of our season and then came up into the ones as the season progressed and smashed it on the wing.
Amazing. What game sticks in your mind from the previous season and why?
The game we played against Hills at home, we were beating them after 60 minutes. It was incredible. I don't know what happened. Something just seemed to click and we just went for it. We were beating them 19-7 and then we got a few crucial injuries to a few key players and we ended up losing something ridiculous like 59-19. But for that 60 minutes, we were really on top of them and they were rattled.
Looking at the off-season, have you had any changes happening in the off-season? Any new staff coming in, coaches, players?
Yeah, we've got some players coming up from under 18s. So Hazel King, I think she's going to be really good. And we have, for the coaches, Mary Lafaiki transitioning from player to coach, and she is our queen. She's already really taught us some stuff in terms of cleaning out and tackling. So really looking forward to her experience and seeing how it translates into our current playing squad.
And have you discussed the ambitions for your team's performance for the coming season? And what are your own goals and expectations?
We have not discussed it formally, but we have our, quotes, 3 easiest games at the start of the season. If we were to win those 3 games, I think it gives us a real momentum going into the 4th game then against Hills. And if we can win that, I think we challenge anybody. So yeah, we really want to do well and we want to give anybody a game. I don't care about the scorelines, we just want to enjoy our rugby and put our best performance out there.
And is there a match or team that you're most looking forward to playing this season?
Harriets for sure, because it's been close the past couple of seasons and they've just edged us, and we really hope that we just nick it this time.
And what do you think of the new league format where there's this split? How do you see that coming into the season?
I can see pros and cons with it. There's pros for sure if you're in either the top four or the bottom four, because you're playing people at the same sort of level as you more frequently. And that will be particularly good for people going into the Celtic Challenge and things like that, which is good for them. And also for the teams in the bottom four, it's still good for them because you're still playing people that are at the same level and it'll be closer games, which is great. And then the bad thing I can see about it is that I think it will be less attractive for people coming up to go to a bottom four team rather than a top four team, because they'd want to play the best rugby they can. And if you're playing in that top four, then you're doing that. Whereas then it creates a wider gap then between that top and bottom four in our league, which is potentially short-sighted from the SRU.
Appreciate the honesty. And a final question, what has drawn you to rugby?
I started playing tag rugby when I was in Dublin and I loved that, and I thought, oh, I'll give real rugby a go. I had a really fantastic mentor in Ailish Egan who won the Grand Slam for Ireland. She taught me how to play tight head prop, and I've just loved it ever since. I love playing at Cartha. It makes me feel alive. I love playing with our team. We have such a great time, and I can't imagine not being around it and not playing rugby, to be honest.
Ailey Tucker, Watsonians FC.
Yep, just like I said the entire time.
So reflecting on last season, what were your team's expectations and how did you perform against those expectations?
We always want to strive to get to the top of the table and stay at the top of the table. So we finished the league in third, so we were up that end. So we were disappointed that we didn't get higher up or get to the final, but we still stayed in the top three, which is really good for us.
And were there any standout players that you had throughout the season?
We've had quite a few, with so many of them being picked up in the Celtic Challenge and what have you, but Brian McNamara has to get a shout out. She was, always is amazing. So yeah, and so many of the youngsters that have came up have stepped up. Charlotte Russell, Kaylee King, and a few others like Phaedra Snellam, who's moved up from the borders to play for us. Yeah, really standout players who have really brought depth and a lot of competitiveness to the team.
Fab. And what game sticks in your mind from last season and why?
Do you mean like league or?
It can be either.
Either. So, there's been so many against the top teams. It's like you just don't know which way it's going to go. You could be the better team on the day, you might not be. It depends. It's just those games are just really exciting. So there's so many to choose from, but like, yeah, none in particular, just really good competitive games.
What kind of changes have you had in the off season, if any? Any new staff, any new players?
We've done a lot of recruiting, tried to get as many new people down as well, which has been really good. A few youngsters coming up that have left under 18s that are starting their women's rugby journey. So yeah, had a few of them. And our coaching staff, we've brought in a former international and pro player, Sarah Law. She's joined the coaching squad, which is great. Great to have knowledge off of Sarah. The technicality that she goes into is fantastic, and her knowledge of like playing really important tight fixtures is like second to none. So
Definitely. I think we can all think of the one particular fixture.
in Slobby Trust.
Yes, exactly. Have you got ambitions for your team's performance for the upcoming season?
Same as what we had last year. Get to the top, stay to the top. That's basically what we're aiming for. So, and like just to keep up with the big teams, we like to call them the big four. So yeah, so Stirling, Hills, Cougars. So we want to stay up at that top end, and when it comes to the split in the season, we want to be in that competitive environment.
Do you have any personal goals or expectations for yourself?
Just be fit and able to play.
And is there a match or team that you're most looking forward to playing this season?
Our opener is going to be a big one, so against County. So yeah, always is a good game.
What do you think of the new league format? How does that change going into this season?
I think it's really good. With the split happening, it's going to improve teams. They're going to be playing more competitive fixtures that are better suited to them. So in the top teams are going to obviously have more competitive games over
over a longer period, and same with the ones that are in the lower side of the league, because like you'll learn so much more playing those games than you will being beaten hundreds of points to none. Do you know? So yeah, really good structure, I think, and it's something that we'll see how it goes.
Great. And final question, what drew you to rugby?
I don't actually know what drew me to it. It was a bit of a family sport. My grandpa played and coached, my dad played, my uncle played, my brother plays. So yeah, just a bit of a family thing. So, and I was the only girl to give it a go. So yeah, why not?
Hollenbogen, Stirling County.
So reflecting on last season, what were your team's expectations and how did you perform against those expectations?
We wanted to, get into the Prem final, and we did that. But obviously it didn't go our way. But I'm really proud of us getting through 3 times in a year. 3 times in a year? 3 times in a row. I think we definitely could have showed up better on the day, but again, very proud of us for being able to do that 3 times in a row.
Did you have any standout players throughout the season?
I got to say Katie Ainsworth, who definitely was pulling the strings in the backs and scoring a lot of tries. I'm going to give another shout out to my friend, Aisha Sutcliffe. She's so good. She was really good. And yeah, I'll just say those 2 because if I keep saying other people, they're going to get upset that I didn't say so. I'm going to miss someone out and they're going to get upset.
And is there a particular game that sticks in your mind from last season?
I think we played the Watsons at home, and that was just always nail biter on the edge of our seats every time we go play Watsons. If they come to us or we go to them, it's always a difficult game to play, and we definitely need to rise to the occasion every time. So usually when we play Watsons, I guess.
Great. What kind of changes have been happening in the off season? Have you got any new players coming in, any new management coaches?
Yes, we have a few new players coming in. Definitely a lot of talent coming up from under 18s, and then also just coming in from different clubs. And we've got Megan Kennedy obviously left at the end of last season. So we've got a role that is being filled there. But we're just keep trafficking on, and we're not going to change anything really with our playing style and stuff like that. We're just going to do what we know.
Great. And what have you discussed about your ambitions for your team's performance this year? And what are your own goals and expectations for the season?
I think we're definitely looking towards the Prem final. I think with that, we also we lose a lot of players to Celtic and under 20s and stuff like that. So I think we are definitely looking to get to the final. The Cup would be pretty cool. So yeah, just trying to truck on from winning the Prem for the past 2 years. Let's try and get that back, I guess. Try and get the trophy back.
And so is there a match or a team in particular that you're most looking forward to playing this season?
Again, yeah, Watsons, Cougars, Hills, those 3 are always the toughest games to play. So definitely always looking forward to those ones. It definitely tests us as a team, and it makes us push on from ourselves, and we learn a lot from those games. And it makes us a better team.
What do you think of the new league format? Does it change how you're coming into the league and how you start off your matches?
I don't think it's changing anything for us. I think we're just going to go out there and do what we do usual. I think we're just going to be county, I guess. I think obviously it is great to have a 2 split and being able to play the teams that are more of a challenge. So I think that's very cool, but that's from a personal perspective. But from a team perspective, I think we're just going to get out there and do what we do normally and not think too much about it, I guess.
Fab. And final question, how did you get into rugby?
I can say this now. I can chill out. I was playing football. Well, I used to live in Amsterdam, and I've told this story so many times. And I moved here in 2016, and I was in school, and they were playing I was playing football because there was not really rugby in Amsterdam, and I was playing football, and then I was training with them, and then I looked across the pitch and they were playing rugby, and I was like, I'm so awful at football. I was like, maybe I should just play rugby, that looks more fun. And yeah, that's about it. I told my dad, and he was like, I like rugby, and I was like, great, I'll play it then. And that was it since, I guess.